This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Lo and behold, everybody, I got Andreas from the Ta2squid podcast.
It's actually Ta2squid.
Ta2squid podcast.
Yeah, so
I'd be on the Ta2squid.
And just call me Dre. Everybody, don't
Dre.
really call me like my
I know. I'm the worst.
No, don't worry about it.
Respect your name. Right.
Believe me, you had it better than my school teachers in school. They're like,
I feel honored.
Andres?
But now that makes me feel worried about whoever's teaching school.
Yeah, I know. It's like they call me Andres, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
That used to happen to my parents.
No,
they'd pick one of us up at school, and they'd address one of the other by the other's surname because they didn't have the same last name, and it was just unfathomable to most people, and it's just hysterical because you just go, it's okay to come out of your shell once in a while, buddy.
Yeah, because I mean, even my mom, not my mom, my dad's like Hungarian, so he has the same name as me. I'm named after him.
Nice.
And he was always, because I always say Andre, but he was always saying it's Andras. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, but some people don't know that. So I'm just saying it like I would want to be called, because the S
to me,
the S would be silent. So it'd be Andre, like a long A. But I mean that nowadays everybody just calls me Dre or even on, like the podcast wise, they ever just call me Squid. So which I didn't know Squid was another phrase for like the army, I don't know, Army or Marines or whatever, that they underwater soldiers,
Oh, Navy SEALs?
Like a Navy SEALs kind of thing or something. I don't know. It's like, because I had a couple of people come up to me because my license plate says Ta2squid on it.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I was sitting at a 7-Eleven, which to most people out there, because it's like a Turkey Hill or something, or like a Wawa, and I'll sit there and I'll have like my coffee and eat like a bagel or donut or something, and then this guy like comes up out of nowhere and he goes, "Squid." He's like, "So you're a Ta2squid?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, you're in the military?" And I'm like, No, it's a podcast and all that. And he goes, "Oh, that's what they call, this and this, like squids and all that." And I'm like, I didn't realize that. I'm like, I just like squids,
Someone has to like them.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool, So I'm like, and now I know, So I'm like, and then there was like maybe 2 other people that said the exact same thing, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I never got known for like that before, but nobody hasn't really said anything like, oh, you got a podcast. But they like the name Ta2squid, because even I have a jacket, a friend of mine made me a jacket that has the name and like squid that's holding the microphone. It's actually, there's a picture like in the back, like there. So that one is on my jacket. So, and everybody sees it, and they're like, "Oh, you're the one with the car outside that says Ta2squid." I'm like, yeah. So, the whole thing, promoting, trying to put cards in the pizza place, and just put it on the tables and see who's going to take them.
There you go.
So, and
so yeah, we've had Dre on here before, and we've always just enjoyed chatting because
we did 18.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That will
loved 18. I mean, I don't like the movie, but I mean, I love.
Yeah, we were pretty much in agreement. We're just like, there's just something immortal about this premise that shouldn't have even worked, and yet because it was done with such love,
I mean,
we're just like,
I mean, we got if they were gonna do like a remake of what we're gonna talk about, I would be happy about it because I want to see how it would look.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they never did it yet.
It's definitely. I'm even surprised that they've even done some comic books, but like with every other movie or show I've been looking at lately, I've been even more kind of blown away by, wow, this is how big this fan base is and what have you. It's always intriguing to just kind of get this insight.
Isn't we call it, like, from what I understand, I think like everything that's TV show or movie wise has been taken by comic books. So comic books has the one like Walking Dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Walking Dead wasn't a thing out of somebody's mind saying, "Oh, I want to make a show out of this." I think they did like comic books first, and they're like, "Oh, there's a comic book. Hey, let's go and do a show."
Oh, totally. And for this giant, Buck Rogers, to much like Lord of the Rings, it predated Star Wars, and yet it didn't exist in visual form until Star Wars was a thing. And then the studios are like, okay, well, I guess we can't adapt anything. And we're just overthinking this.
Hey, when you have like a short little I forgot what the real name of Tweaky. Tweaky's like this little like android robot, ampupod they call him. And Tweaky's like this like walk around. In the beginning it was like, like that little robot, like that. But then Buck Rogers did a little tweaking on Tweaky, and then and now he talks like, somebody that's from like the city. Yeah.
Yeah, it is fun how they play around with that. It's like once it's Mel Blanc, then he sounds like a robot, and then he sounds like someone else.
Yeah, he sounds like somebody that you've just been hanging out with. It's like having like a co-pilot when you go to like a bar or something, I guess. You go, "Hey, Buck, what's going on?" It's like, I'm picturing him like he needs a cigar or something. And it's like, "Hey, what's going on? Let's go."
Just a total creative realm, and it is just so wild how. I mean, what do you think was the real reason it was hated at the time? Because
I don't know.
It was
I don't think anybody
popular.
knew about it. I don't think anybody knew about it. I think I don't think anybody hated it. I mean, back then, because like you said, there was.
I just saw some critics labeled as always hating it, but that's what was crazy.
Critics, though. I mean,
I don't know how much of that was jealousy versus. Well, we've got to hate on it because it's trying to be like Star Wars, even though Star Wars was inspired by it.
Yeah, like we were talking about before, we called what is it, Battlestar Galactica?
Galactica. I mean, it wouldn't
was
exist
huge,
without Star Wars.
And that was going around the same time as Buck Rogers was coming around.
Yeah, I mean, they stole the effects guys because why wouldn't you? If you want to do as good a job, it's okay. I don't understand.
I mean, they probably made it on the same set. You never knew.
I mean, they have cast and crew right now on shows like Expanse who were part of the Star Trek family. So it's just like, and as well as Stargate. So I'm just like,
oh, I forgot about Star Trek.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, this is what the show is often cited as being like trying to be like Star Wars in, the first season, and then kind of experimenting a little more. I mean, kind of more like Star Trek, and same kind of deal as Galactica and some of those other shows. But it's interesting to see kind of how. I mean, I'm looking at Mandalorian right now, and even some of these free roaming games, and I think they do kind of owe a little more, even to just kind of Rogers, where they're just like, just explore, just go around, have fun.
I like the fact that we could. Now, my take on Buck Rogers, and folks, I love Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers. I mean, I'll watch that, even though it's like 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I'll watch all 2 seasons again.
Oh yeah,
and again.
Anyone who wants to watch it, you can. If you don't have cable anymore, like half the world,
You can see it on if you have Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Tubi.
Yeah,
I know that. So you can just because I have it on Tubi, and
it definitely is
like,
on DVD. It might be coming to Blu-ray in the future, but yeah, I mean, if you're
but
not
if you
watching
really
it on
want to get
MeTV
somewhere,
or Tubi,
if you don't want to spend the money, then you can go to Tubi. Yeah, because Tubi is like free, I guess. And then you can go in there, and it has every kind of show, even like 80 shows like that was out. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, I forgot all about that shit. Like they did Sheena.
that guest
Anyway,
star, that
yeah,
unusual
Battlestar
villain.
Galactica. They got like Star Trek in there. They got Star Wars, certain ones, and um, and I'm like, but I was watching Buck Rogers, and that from my age, I'm gonna be 50 in August. So
Congrats.
when I was
making it.
yeah. No, believe me, there's a thing I keep on telling people uh for some reason, but it's not a downer kind of thing. It's how I feel like, like 56 is like the end, for me. It's like, I don't see myself passing 56 for some reason. And it's not like a person that says, uh, like it's not a oh, he's distraught. I'm like, no. Like I don't know, for some reason in my mind, I think, like I think like stupid shit because we could even I think I'm adopted half the time and then you know and my family was like, what do you mean you think you're adopted? I'm like, I don't know, I don't look like you, I don't, but
I'm different
anyway,
from
getting
you.
back to Buck Rogers. I um I saw this when I was like younger, and especially Erin Gray playing Wilma, which is like a colonel
Mm-hmm.
in like the uh oh, what was the year? 2055, I think it was.
I think so.
I think the year was 2055, and it's supposed to be like. So if people that's watching this or listening to this and not knowing what the
They're
fuck the
probably
fuck
going,
Rogers,
"Isn't this Farscape? You mean?" I'm like, "Well, that's
yeah,
where it got its
yeah, they're
influence."
like
Astronaut.
what the hell the Buck Rogers? I'm gonna give you like a little heads up on it. I'm like, so Buck Rogers, there's a guy he lives in like the 60s, maybe early 70s, where disco was big, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
then he's an astronaut, and he goes and does his uh spaceship, like a Challenger or whatever. And his controls get jammed, and he gets frozen in time, and he's like drifting for like 500 years, or goes into the future like 2055, and he comes across uh the crew, which is Erin Gray, that plays Colonel uh Wilma Deering, and she's the Starfleet and everything else. And
yes, basically,
um
yeah. Basically,
and then
Starfleet.
they find him, and they're like, oh, you're part of because he was first brought on. uh there was like an enemy, we call it, that they were going against, but these people find Buck drifting into space, and they're like, well, what's this? They never seen
yeah,
anything
what
like
does
this.
this mean?
They didn't see a Challenger or whatever, like a space shuttle. They're like, what kind of machinery is this? And they see what's going on, and of course you got uh your sexiness, like the woman that's like in command, but she wears like
And they
the
give her like not only a cool job title, but also just like so much ass kicking to do. And
oh yeah. No, but I'm talking about like the lady that's like the evil princess or whatever, it's
oh
very
yes, yeah.
like sexy, kind of like, wears like, the bikini tops and the bottoms, but they have like she wears this like all the time, like, hi, I'm the queen, but she's a princess, but she thinks she's queen. She's a queen.
And
Um,
they made a good choice to decide, hey, how about we if we're gonna do this whole just scenario, let's have the pilot be the movie that's in the theater, and then this fall, if you want to see the rest, the show's coming on TV. I mean, it was a good
which they never
idea.
did. I think. I don't think they made like a movie. I wish they did.
Well, yeah, they didn't remake it as a movie. I'm just saying the pilot aired as a movie in cinemas, and it was
I mean, that's what they usually
same thing
do.
as Battlestar. Just it's somehow they were able to dissect those 3 hours and make it make sense. But yeah, same here. I mean, the movie is a good starting point because I mean, you get an idea of what everyone is like. You get how, again, both leads can have some dry wit and be serious when it's time to go and kick some ass. So it's interesting how, with
it's funny because and also like I said with Buck Rogers, the people in the future have no idea or recollection because of I'm trying to remember there was something going on like the Third World War or something, and it was like a nuclear kind of like destruction of the whole Earth, and Buck didn't know anything about it. I mean, he knew something about it, but that's the reason why they were doing this special mission or something. But then afterwards, something happened, and then so they were telling him, and he was just like, all right, so, and then he had nowhere to go. He was like the only man, he's like the 500-year-old man or whatever. And then he was like the biggest thing, like in the Buck Rogers series kind of thing.
It was also a radio serial, but well, no,
but it gives you like like the sexiness of Erin Gray,
as Wilma and as
Gerard.
Buck, he had cool hair back in the day.
And Gil Gerard. I mean, back then, I mean, he was a sexy fucking guy. Back then with the hairy chest and everything else, and but just like the outfits, I'm like, oh, shit, but I mean, it was the outfits of those days, But then, Erin Gray wearing like the hot pants, and from what I found out, Erin Gray is apparently, I think, a size 9, and the outfits that she wears is like size 7. So they had to like girdle her, like with a corset kind of thing, and and then that way she fits into the size 7, the hot pants jumpsuit kind of thing, which I was like, wow. I'm like, there is no panty lines anywhere.
Nice.
And I'm like, and that, believe me, folks, and then you got Tweaky, and the little robot guy, and everything else, and then they get the Doctor. I forgot the full name, but he's like the citizens, the person that runs the city, even though that's like the only major city on Earth, and he's like the guy, he's like the delegate that they go to, or he's like in charge, so, and he has no recollection of like stuff that happened 500 years beforehand. So when they make like, oh, we're gonna have a party for Buck for his birthday, and they had these party favors, and he's like, oh, what's this? What's this? Oh, I'm do this and blah blah blah. But a lot of people didn't know about the outtake, and he uses like Earth humor when he was around, like around that time in 2055, like what is he talking about? Yeah. So
nice.
But a lot of action scenes, and the there was no CGI, I think, back then.
Yeah, you had to put animation the old way on film.
But which it was new to them, I think, at the time.
And much like Battlestar and Star Wars, there were plenty of times where, they're still able to simulate actual gunfire and set off a, simulated explosion and all that. And
I'm hoping, and we were talking about this before. We called that. Hopefully, they are going to do a remake movie. If they make a movie of, if they can do a movie of A-Team, back in those days,
that would have been great.
Then they can do.
Watched it.
Oh my God, I will watch it. I'm like, I'll see it on one. Even if they have like different, like obviously you can't really have the characters like Gil Gerard, Erin Gray, which you can have cameos.
I mean, it was good enough that they were in some of the Star Trek fan films, which was kind of fun because those fan films were kind of uniting a bunch of people. They had a bunch of other people from similar stuff like B5 and Battlestar, and so it was fun to see them kind of try and make it appealing to all kinds of people, and to do that kind of rare kind of just kind of send up, I think was very empowering.
It was good. We called it first time to I could watch it and I'm like, wow, it's like coming home from school. And I think Buck Rogers was like at the time coming on like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock or something, like around this time or something. And it was always like, you were watching that or Knight Rider.
Something, that was
it was something on,
accessible. You didn't have to worry about kids can't watch this, go to bed.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's like we all had that. We always had that. I know from when I grew up, especially when I was watching like MTV, my dad's like, "Oh my God, MTV's gonna rot your brain, it's not good for you or whatever." I'm like, "Dad, it's music video. What's it gonna do?" And it hasn't really done anything. I mean, it was fun, and Buck Rogers was the same thing. It was like something that you're like, "Oh wow," laser beams and techno music, which I mean, there's people out there that do like techno music still to this day.
You count me in, but I mean, it was I watched music.
But I watched it because of the laser kind of thing, the even the drama effort, and they introduce you to a later version of a vampire. There was a scene where
have some fun kind of what would be kind of what you were used to seeing probably on something like Kojak or The Night Stalker or just some other.
No, but I mean, like you see like the movies, like the not Bram Stoker. What was it? There was like a TV like something Dark Shadows. So they had like the old style Dark Shadows kind of thing where there's a vampire but then you have Buck Rogers. There was a scene where they had to go to some quadrant or something, and they had to drop off the Emupod, that's what they call Twiggy. And they drop them off for some kind of disc, kind of like get them like fixed up while they're, I guess it was like a Shangri-La kind of place or something. So Buck and Wilma was going to go to this like Shangri-La kind of type place, and they're going to, basically they had the kid, they're dropping the kids off at the daycare center, on the way over to where they were going to go and hang out for a while, for a couple hours, and then come back and pick up the kid afterwards. So it's almost like,
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small-town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
The Jacked Up Review Show podcast is honored to be part of the Blind Knowledge Podcast Network. Join anytime, talk the talk, and enjoy yourselves. There's something enlightening for everyone with this crowd of cool cats. Check them out.
How we do it, like parents do. You're like, oh, we got kids. It's like, oh, let's go out and have a nice day or together. Like, well, let's drop the kids off at the daycare center. And that's what they did with Squeaky. So they just dropped off at like some kind of. But then now they got held in that whole thing, and they encountered a futuristic type vampire where he has like the bat ears, somewhat, and the long fingernails, kind of thing, like a Nosferatu kind of type.
They really did. They went to tap by making them look like kind of folklore, kind of cultural legends, gothic kind of, any other scenario would often be kind of considered a dark fantasy or horror creature. And I applaud how the late 70s and even, in 80, we got them adapting Buck Rogers. I mean, not Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon. And it was interesting to see.
Yeah, that's an old one too, though.
Predated serial brought to life, and people were outraged. They were like, "Oh, it's ridiculous." I'm like, "Well, why wouldn't it be? It's Flash Gordon." So
yeah, the one scene. So I know we're talking about Buck Rogers, but
right. No, but guys, we're a little deliberately all over the place because much like all this stuff, Twilight Zone, Doctor Who, Star Trek, it all.
Oh yeah. Believe me, it's like my podcast. I'm all over the place anyway, so it's right. I'm right at home with it. No, but with Flash Gordon, the one scene that I keep on reacting to scene, like to my friends half the time, and it's what was it? Flash Gordon was what? When did Flash Gordon come out?
Yeah, it came out in 1980. There were, much like Rogers, there were already serials before, but
yeah. So there was a scene where. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, we don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about."
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah. Wait, oh my god, what are we listening to here?
We're talking about cool stuff here. Just keep up.
Yeah. We're old guys, trying to talk about shit. I don't know how old you are, but so Flash Gordon, there's a scene where Flash is in like this fight. And there's Falcon, which is like one of the like a Hawkman kind of thing, and Flash is on this rocket cycle, and he's flying around, and again with the cinematic kind of thing in the background, it doesn't look real and whatever, but it was fun to watch, and
yeah, the way they did green screens back then were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because even they still had the lighting figured out back then, even if the movie was whatever.
But they had a scene where Falcon, Flash is like, Flash calling, Falcon, Flash, he goes, "I read you," and then all of a sudden, then he goes, "Where are you?" And then he goes, "Oh, I'm flying blind on a rocket cycle." And this is the one part that I keep on reenacting to friends. I'm like, "Flying blind on a rocket cycle?"
Right.
And it's like, I forget who the guy's name is, but I'm going to look it up actually. Hold on. Let's see. Flash. Master. No, that's a whole different thing. Hold on. Oh, yeah, 1980 film. Yeah. Where is the. Oh, come on, give me the cast.
I mean, yeah, the movie has so many suspenseful moments. You pretty much pretty much instead of trying to infiltrate the base, he lands right in the base, makes friends with the villain, and then blows their shit up. Which I think is one hell of a way for a hero to go, because you see so many other people who kind of just want to take their time building up to it. It's like, no, they get right on into it. They're just like, hey, this is what you came here for. This is what you're going to see.
Oh, here we go. Sam J. Jones was Flash Gordon. The Emperor was Max von Sydow. That's the actor.
Yeah. I know he went to a convention before he passed away, but yeah.
Trying to hold on, let me see something here. Oh yeah, Timothy Dalton was in it too.
That's the unexpected hero, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Brian Blessed. That's the guy's name. He was Prince Walton, we called the Hawkman leader. Yeah, so I'm like, I love that guy. That guy was fucking awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, now I remember we called Max Lawrence. I'm like, oh, he did I think he did the Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Barbarian. That's right. Yeah, he was like the king that lost his kingdom to the who the fuck was it?
Here we go.
False of Doom. Yeah.
False of Doom. Yeah, there you go.
So then he's like get my daughter back and all this will be yours. I'm trying to do the voices and it doesn't sound like it's gonna be right there. But yeah, that's an awesome show, and Buck Rogers and I'm gonna be watching Buck
Rogers. It's cool to see it kind of applaud each other, because like it literally was kind of the Firefly Mandalorian of its day. It's just people have to remember. I mean, I've seen, for instance, so many people get into Mondo who aren't even Star Wars guys, but they've done all Borderlands and
Flash Gordon is like it's like your modern day Buck Rogers. It's just set in a different time period or something, but Buck Rogers was like the 70s guy and transported to like 2055. But then
you can relate with them instantly, because like you just know that even though by hero logic they're going to get out of this, they're not.
Oh yeah,
it's not set up to where, hey, I got no idea how to do this or that. It's like he's they kind of give him a Han Solo persona where he's a smartass, but then they make up for it by also showcasing, hey, he can do this and that, but at the end of the day, he's still just an average Joe who happens to be a, astronaut, and he's working with all these space ranger guys.
But I have to say this: anybody that's listening to this, like producers, probably, hopefully,
I hope you are.
Producers, directors, whoever. If you think about making like a remake of Buck Rogers, fucking do it. Please. Just cast whatever, but the person that plays Erin Gray, in said movie, has to be, and I don't want to sound sexist or anything, but it has to fit into the hot pants. And you got to use the hot pants. You can't just go and say, "Oh, we're just gonna do this." Nah, it's not gonna work. But they can probably make it work. I don't know. But it's for kids that grew up like teenagers and all that, and you're watching Buck Rogers and you're seeing Colonel Deering like walking around, and you got your hormones we call it jumping 20-fold, and I found out a tidbit when I was telling you about that podcast, the Frenzies, I guess. Apparently we called Erin Gray was in that role, she does more commanding. I'm a colonel. This is what you gotta do. I say you gotta do this. I'm a colonel. Blah blah blah, and commanding. Respect everywhere there is. But at home, she's been dealing with like domestic abuse. At home. But she does that, married to the person for like 20 somewhat years, and just going through domestic, spousal abuse or just domestic abuse in general. And then going to do Buck Rogers like on a weekly
That's very
basis.
sad. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, but and now she talks about it. I mean, you could tell that when she was talking about it, that she was like upset a little bit, but I guess she was like over it, and she's on doing. And I think she made a book.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the name of the book is, but yeah, she made a book, and yeah, I would love. I would actually. That'd be great if you can either get her on here, or I can try to get her on mine.
Fan mail that we need to send.
We'd be like, hey, let's just talk to you about this. I'm like, listen, I'm just like the guy that's listening in.
Right.
I'll be like, I'm a huge fan,
Record half of it on your podcast. Record the other half here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could try. I mean,
and either way, I mean, we would try to just have kind of a heart to heart. It's like, we can't believe we're talking to someone from 3 eras ago. 4 eras.
Yeah, I mean, but still, like a celebrity, and she is like a huge celebrity. She's done other stuff other than Buck Rogers, where
right.
Like, I mean, there's so much.
She's always very heartfelt at conventions, so that's cool.
Yeah, she's done like a lot of different other stuff, and it's not just Buck Rogers.
So many people frown on going to conventions because not everyone's built for it. It's like not everyone wants to be around a giant crowd, and other people just don't want to do more than just autographs.
I've never gone to a Comic-Con or a convention as it is, but from what I understand, it doesn't matter how well you're fit. It's like how you perceive yourself, like at these conventions. Like I could be dressed. It's like doing Halloween. For like
yes.
3 days straight. And I would do it no problem. You could wear a mask, you could dress up like your favorite character, and nobody would say anything. You're gonna get your critics, like the people that dress are like, oh, why are you wearing that when he's supposed to wear the Andorian belt, and like everybody's specific, and it's like, listen, I'm just wearing it just to get in with you guys, but so I would love to, yeah. So, Erin Gray, if you are listening to this or watching this, come on his show, or message me or Cam, and we try and make something happen here. Yeah,
totally. Because like,
I think she'll have fun
about the spaceships.
The spaceships! Oh my god,
they have this,
but they're so compact. They're so compact, those spaceships, the fighters, they're like this. Like, all right, let's go.
It's just something about it that's just very well thought out.
Yeah. Like, and roomy. Like the big ones, Yeah,
they do a real hell of a job by also just like you say, showing how they can maneuver without reusing too much of the same footage. And then when they attack, like, instead of like intense close-ups like any of these other sci-fi movies and shows, like they instead kind of go for more just like simple dogfights, kind of like a regular World War II kind of show. Like Black Sheep Squadron.
Well, I mean, it was like Buck Rogers was like just flying this thing around in the beginning, and they're like, no, you got to do the computer assisted kind of thing. So you go where the computer tells you is a good point to go in and attack. And then Buck Rogers is like, what are you talking about? You got to use your mind, to like fight, use your instincts. The computer's not going to have instincts.
Yeah, the computers they don't really treat them like dum-dums, but they still kind of are like, well, let's just show them being just kind of more, for lack of a better word, just kind of just they're inputting all this stuff and just instead of reading it out loud, they're kind of just more just like saying out loud indicator, and they're not as interactive, really.
Yeah. I want to see if I can try to get a what's the hell is it called? The sound effect that people, yeah, tweaky. How you spell tweaky? Nothing.
Looking around. Who voiced
Yeah,
the
no,
computer in episode?
Well, no. There's a thing called My Instance, and they have like these sound effects, and if you type in the right word or something, it does have it.
That's awesome.
You know, but no Buck Rogers. No, of course nobody does that. So anyway, but they have these sound effects that I try to use, and like Flash Gordon maybe probably won't have it, but oh yeah, no, they do actually. Wait. I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear that or?
It doesn't say it on my end, but you can send me the sound effect if you want. Just...
Yeah, there goes that flash. Aha. Yeah. Yeah, especially when we're like, what is going on out there?
Some kind of creature.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm just doing a track.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just cool. And the starships and everything else, and how they had that 4-section like they're in space, and then they can go to like they like they have Star Wars where they get like they're one place and they they go really fast like to another star system like really quick. And Buck Rogers has like this Stargate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they do kind of just little small like add-ons to the various effects instead of reusing and sampling the same stuff or reversing the sound effects for that matter. They're pretty much to the point. Okay. I mean,
but
the set design definitely deserves an A.
Oh yeah.
To do it with that much limited budget, it definitely wasn't Star Wars money, let alone even Star Trek money. So I love how even the Allstate guy, you can find him. It's unclear if he's playing the same crewman. I think he kind of is.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but he'll often be like the pilot for like 5 different episodes, and then like a voiceover in a few other episodes. But it's
no, he was the Allstate commercial guy, right? You're talking about,
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was in like the second.
Yeah,
he was in the second season.
Mm-hmm. He does like a bunch of different episodes. Sometimes they credit him as just crewman. Other times it's like lieutenant. So
yeah. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, Captain Rogers. How you doing? And then that was like his main thing back then. But yeah, you look at it, you're like, oh shit, that's the guy from, and like he's been in a bunch of movies and commercials, and I mean he's probably best known for the insurance commercials. Yeah. But I gotta get going because I think girlfriend is making dinner, and I got. And as you know, I work overnight, so I gotta get my stuff ready.
For sure. And
I don't want to cut it too quick, but
no, it's all good. And anything you want to promote before you go?
Yeah, we call it. So I run a Ta2squid podcast. That's Ta2squid. Basically, you can go to the link tree. So go to the https linktr.ee/Ta2squid podcast, all one word. So that's Ta2squid podcast. and you'll find all the links of YouTube, Anchor, which now is called Spotify for podcasters, and you got my and you can buy merch as well. So I mean, you get it's on there. It's a listing there, Phils. So check it out. And I have now I'm doing a game show, and not now, but probably end of April, beginning of May. Going to be starting that up, which hopefully Cam's gonna join it when
put me on the spot. It's all good, but yeah, no, I'll gladly do it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's gonna be like a podcast versus podcast kind of thing.
Sweet.
And I think we touched on this once before. I think that it's basically you there's two descriptions of movies, which is right up your alley, in my alley, like different movies and everything else. And they have all different kinds of stuff, so you get the two names, you put it together, you make like this name, and if you get it right, then you get points. And if if you can't figure it out, then I give you like 2 or 3 tries, and if you can't figure it out, then the other team gets a chance to steal it, and then we do like a set of 3 or 4, and then if you win, then you go on to the next one. Then the next round would be from somebody against somebody else that won previous. So I mean, I'm still working it out, but I'm trying to get more people on. And I think I got like 8, I think. Then I got brackets, so I'm gonna pair off whoever, and that is somewhat synonymous with each other, I guess. To start off, I'll have like one that's like 2 drinking, podcasts. That's gonna be crazy as it is. Going against each other, and then whoever wins that goes on the next round, and then like a good feeling out something. So
absolutely, there's nothing better than when podcasts actually stick to the format of we're radio, but we're digital.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, we call
the just veer off.
The game show thing is it's gonna be crazy, I think. Yeah, so hopefully everybody's gonna like tune in, watch it. You'll see it on the videos, and not much editing for the videos. I try to do editing and for YouTube, and it doesn't work out. But I do editing for like the audio, and I always try to. And a lot of people like it, the whole thing, and so it's good. And I do episode art, so and you'll see, which I think you see my episode art thing on Twitter, right?
Yeah, he does a lot of tweets, guys. So, I
mean, it's crazy how I can put this stuff together. And my girlfriend says, like, you came into a calling or something, like you found your niche. I'm like, yeah, it's true, I guess. Everybody else liked it. They're like, wow, this is fucking great.
It's cool to have that amount of interaction, let alone just you're very chill and very fearless. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but like I said, I gotta get going.
Okay.
But thank you for I love talking about Buck Rogers. Whatever other ones. If you think of anything else to talk about,
my dude, I made a whole list of it. I promise.
What you got? What kind of list you got? And then
just well, some of your suggestions, but like in the text messages back and forth.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. We call it just run somebody, and then and if I know it, again. Yeah, like 18 was great. Buck Rogers was also a good one. Maybe trying to figure out, maybe do the Star Wars thing or something, or maybe.
I promise we'll do some kind of break.
Because even the newest stuff now, I mean, like Andor and Mandalorian, and we just watched like maybe one episode I think they had. It is really good. I think I watched the whole thing with my girlfriend. I think saw a little bit, and she's going to catch up on it. But nice. we really like Mandalorian. It's
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Comfort food.
and hopefully they bring back Gina Carano. Carano. Yeah, or am I got that name right? I don't know.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it, Carano.
Yeah, we call it because she said some shit, and we all say some kind of shit, and they should just like throw it off the top of the back and say, listen, sorry, you want to come back, we'll do an episode here and there, blah blah blah. Yeah. So, but that'd be awesome,
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Be safe out there. Always good having you on here. Just
yeah, definitely, man. I love it on this because
brief
I'm
party.
talking about old stuff and revisiting my youth.
Exactly.
Especially all that stuff. Yeah.
Sure,
do you do cartoons as well, or you do like just basic like shows?
Yeah, we'll do some cartoons later on.
Definitely. I mean, I would love to talk about old style cartoons. I love my 80s cartoons.
Yeah.
I wish I had like an 80s. If you look at the room, it doesn't seem like it, but I like horror. I mean, I like everything. I like Japanese anime. I like horrors. I like Funko Pops.
Nice.
I got Voltron. I got Beetlejuice around. I got everything. Lego Batman and whatnot. But I love my cartoons. I got the DVDs of Thundar. I got the DVDs of Galaxy Rangers, Thundercats. I got the whole section of He-Man. That's like that's my jam right there. Yeah. Actually, we could probably talk about He-Man. Yeah.
There you go.
Especially that Weird Al movie with Dolph Lundgren. And
He-Man in comic book history too.
Yeah, but we could have then they made like a new series of He-Man, which I'm not really a fan of. Like, if they're gonna read, like they did Thundercats, they did a whole thing of Thundercats, they did a whole thing of this, and I'm like, why? It's like He-Man. I'm like, and I know Kevin Smith did the newer
He
He-Man,
did his. I didn't mind that one.
his adaptation of it, which is fine, but I'm just not a fan of. I'm a fan of Kevin Smith. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Kevin Smith. Just the cartoon thing.
Animation was kind of.
Yeah. Oh, funny tidbit. And for people out there that like B movies, I saw this one movie called Wolfman Cop.
Wolf Cop.
Yeah, Wolfman Cop. It's just like you're very like
deliberately ridiculous.
But then they made a second one. They made a second one. Another Wolfman Cop is called, I think it is, and Kevin Smith is the mayor.
Oh, that's awesome! Now
it's the mayor of the town, or the mayor of the town, and it's fucking hilarious. Love it. It's like
I love all those kind of deliberate, like dumb blockbusters, kind of like about like a pastor, just it's like you're just like you can't believe.
This is my take on this is what I think what it is. It's like Teen Wolf meets Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it's
meets Mighty Ducks for the second movie.
That's very specific.
The second movie, that's where it's kind of a combination of Teen Wolf meets what did I just say? Teen Wolf meets it was just like all mixed in. So I'm like, wow, this is fucking crazy. But special effects is especially you have to see it. It's just funny. You're like, what the fuck am I watching now? And even my girlfriend says that sometimes, like, what the hell are you watching? I'm like, I don't even know half the time.
I have no idea.
I just like watching, if I see something that piques my interest, I'm like, I'll watch it and see it. And, I'm like, hell, I got this guy behind me. And that's Frankenstein underneath all that stuff. Actually, there's a Frankenstein. And actually, there's times where this son of which scares me sometimes when I come into a room and it's like dark and I'm like, is it going to look at me or is it going to move towards me? I don't know. But yeah, let me get going. I'm getting hungry.
Godspeed to you, my dude.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Message me later on.
Absolutely.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a jacked up